All right, so today we're diving deep into a fascinating culture,
Oh, yeah.
the Tsonga people of southern Africa.
Okay, I'm ready.
We've got this incredible source, the Tsonga people. Culture, history, and tradition.
Awesome.
It's packed with details, and we're going way beyond the surface level.
Sounds good.
We're talking about intriguing customs, unexpected connections, and even how the Tsonga are navigating modern life.
Let's do it.
So the Tsonga people, they're also sometimes called the Thonga, the Tonga, or the Shangaan,
Okay,
and they're spread across a few countries in southern Africa.
gotcha.
Mozambique, South Africa, Zimbabwe, and Swaziland.
Wow, that's quite a region.
It is, and you might recognize names like the Shona and Zulu people.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Well, there's a reason for that.
Hmm.
All three groups actually trace their roots back to Central Africa, and this amazing event called the Bantu expansion.
Okay, the Bantu expansion. So remind me, what was that all about?
Well, picture this. Starting around the 4th century, people start migrating across the entire African continent.
Wow, that's a long journey.
It was, and it wasn't just about moving. The Bantu expansion also spread languages, agricultural techniques, even entire ways of life.
Oh, that's fascinating.
It really is. And it's this huge cultural wave that brought the ancestors of the Tsonga to southern Africa, where they then ended up interacting with other Bantu-speaking groups like those Shona and Zulu people we were talking about.
Right, so they're all kind of connected through this ancient migration.
Exactly. Now imagine the Tsonga people then encounter Portuguese colonizers and Arab traders.
Oh, wow, that's a whole new layer of cultural interaction.
It is, and it makes you wonder how these encounters impacted them.
I mean, was it all peaceful exchange, or were there conflicts too?
Well, it's kind of a two-sided story, you know?
Yeah, I can imagine.
On the one hand, you have the introduction of new ideas, goods, even words, that all start making their way into Tsonga culture.
Sure, that makes sense.
But then on the other side, there were those power imbalances, that often led to conflict.
Right, that happens all too often in history.
It does. It's a reminder that history is rarely black and white.
Very true.
So speaking of language, let's talk about Tsonga.
Okay, Tsonga. Tell me more.
It's the language of the Tsonga people, and millions speak it.
Wow, millions.
But where does it fit into the bigger picture of all the different African languages?
Well, Tsonga is part of one of the most extensive language families on the entire continent.
Really?
Yeah, the Bantu languages. You can almost picture it as this huge family tree with branches reaching all across Africa.
Oh, I like that, a family tree of languages.
It's a good way to think about it. And language is more than just words, you know?
Yeah, it is.
It carries the stories, the songs, the heart of a culture.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And speaking of heart, the Tsonga people have this incredibly close-knit way of life.
Okay, close-knit. In what way?
Well, it's centered around clans and extended families.
Interesting.
And you might be surprised to learn just how much emphasis they place on family ties.
So what does that look like, practically speaking?
Well, imagine growing up, surrounded by your grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins. They're all actively involved in your life, every day.
Wow, that's so different from how many people live today.
It is. And decisions are often made communally, with elders holding a very respected position within the family.
It's really a different kind of social structure.
Definitely. It's a far cry from the focus on individualism we often see in other parts of the world.
I can see that.
Now, their clothing is also something to see.
What's special about it?
Our source mentions colorful, patterned fabrics and adornments.
But can we get a little more visual here? Like, what makes their style stand out?
Absolutely.
Oh.
Picture vibrant geometric patterns woven right into the fabrics themselves.
Okay, I could see that.
And then you've got beaded necklaces and headdresses layered on top.
Oh, wow, that sounds elaborate.
It is, and it's more than just decoration.
What do you mean?
They're statements of identity, of heritage.
That's powerful.
It is. And there's this one garment, the zibalani.
The Cebuani, what's that?
It's a skirt worn by Tsonga women.
Okay.
And it's got these colorful tassels that sway and flow as they dance.
Oh, that sounds beautiful.
It really is a truly iconic piece of clothing.
I can see why.
And speaking of celebrations, let's talk about Tsonga music.
All right, let's get into the groove.
So what kind of music gets them moving?
Imagine, like, the pulsating rhythm of Tsonga drums echoing through the night during a traditional ceremony.
Oh, I can almost hear it.
These drums are like the heartbeat of their musical expression.
Wow, the heartbeat.
Yeah, they set the pace for both, like energetic dances and sacred rituals.
Interesting.
Then you have the timbila.
Tubidla.
Yeah, it's like a xylophone.
Okay.
And it adds these bright, intricate melodies to the mix.
It sounds like a really unique sound.
It is. Their music is this beautiful blend of joy, spirituality, and a deep connection to their ancestors.
That's amazing. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk food.
Oh, I'm always up for talking food.
Me too.
Yeah.
So you might be familiar with ingredients like cassava and maize.
Yeah, those are staples in a lot of cuisines.
They are, especially throughout Africa. But the Tsonga have their own special ways of preparing them.
Right. Every culture has its own twist.
Exactly. They also use millet and sorghum in their cooking.
Interesting.
And these staples, they're a direct reflection of the region's climate and the way they farm.
That makes sense.
You'll find similarities to other cuisines across Southern Africa, but each culture adds its own distinct flavor, you know?
Absolutely. Food is such a great way to learn about a culture.
I agree. Okay, now for something truly fascinating, and maybe even a bit mysterious.
Ooh, I'm intrigued.
Tsonga initiation schools.
Initiation schools, what are those?
These are coming-of-age rituals.
Oh, like rites of passage.
Exactly. And they sound pretty intense.
So what's the purpose of these rituals?
While we need to be respectful of cultural sensitivities,
Of course.
what we can say is that these rituals are a crucial step for young Tsonga men and women as they transition from childhood to adulthood.
Makes sense.
They provide teachings about their values, responsibilities, their place within the community.
It's like a formal way of preparing them for adult life.
Exactly. Think of it as a graduation ceremony. But instead of a diploma, they gain the essential skills and knowledge they need to be adults within their culture.
That's a really cool way to look at it.
Now, another really interesting aspect is how this deep respect for their ancestors also influences their approach to healing.
Okay, tell me more about that.
Their traditional medicine isn't just about plants and herbs, you know.
It's more holistic, you mean?
Yes, exactly. It's about restoring balance between mind, body, and spirit.
That makes sense.
So, what can you tell us about their specific healing practices?
Well, the Sangha have this amazing knowledge of natural remedies.
Like what?
Well, they use plants and herbs to treat all kinds of ailments.
Oh, I see.
But their approach, as you said, it goes beyond the physical.
Right, it's about the whole person.
Yeah, they incorporate spiritual elements, rituals, and this belief that to heal the body, you also have to address the mind and spirit.
That's fascinating. So how are the Sangha navigating a world that's changing so rapidly around them? Has urbanization impacted their way of life?
It's a real balancing act, that's for sure.
How so?
Well, many Sangha have moved to cities, looking for jobs and opportunity,
Right.
but they're also incredibly protective of their heritage.
That's really admirable.
It is. You
Yeah.
might see a young professional wearing traditional attire with modern clothing, or you'll hear Satsanga being spoken alongside other languages.
Wow, that's a great image of cultural resilience.
It really is a testament to their strength and ability to adapt while still holding on to their identity.
So what about their role in the South African economy? What kind of economic activities are they involved in?
Well, you'll find Sangha people contributing to a wide range of sectors, from agriculture and mining to trade and service industries.
So they're really integrated into the fabric of the economy.
They are, and they face both the opportunities and challenges that come with that, including those socioeconomic disparities that need to be addressed.
That's an important point. Which brings us to cultural preservation.
Yes, crucial topic.
What's being done to protect these traditions in the face of globalization?
Well, there are dedicated organizations and individuals working really hard to document and teach Satsanga, making sure the language continues to thrive.
That's great.
They're also preserving traditional arts and crafts, promoting Sangha music and dance, really reminding the world of the beauty and resilience of this vibrant culture.
But it's not always easy, is it?
No, it's not. The Sangha face a lot of challenges like cultural erosion and the need to protect their historical sites.
Can you give some specific examples?
Imagine the pressure to assimilate, the gradual loss of traditional knowledge as elders pass away, and the threat of development encroaching on sacred sites.
Those are serious issues.
They are. These are real concerns that need awareness and understanding from all of us.
So we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
We've journeyed through the origins, traditions, and modern-day realities of the Tsonga people.
It's been quite a journey.
It has. It's been an eye-opening look at a culture that's both deeply rooted and remarkably adaptable.
What really stands out to me is how the Sangha continue to honor their heritage while navigating a really complex, globalized world.
It's inspiring.
It makes you wonder, how can we all play a role in supporting cultural diversity, not just for the Sangha, but for all indigenous communities facing these kinds of challenges? It's something to think about as we all continue exploring the world's incredibly diverse cultures.
It really is food for thought.
Absolutely.
Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time.
See you then now.